welcome to our very first Girls Who Print Canada Community Huddle. I'm Joanne Gore, President and Chief Strategist at Joanne Gore Communications. We are a full-service B2B marketing agency on a mission to help the print industry sell more print. I'm also the Regional Director of Girls Who Print Canada, and I am so thrilled that you are here for our very first Community Huddle. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Konica Minolta Canada, TI Group, and Ultimate Tech for making this series possible. Community huddles are about bringing women in print together to connect, learn, and share real experiences. This is a conversation, not a presentation. There will be no slides to be seen. Some housekeeping items. Yes, this webinar is being recorded. We kind of forgot to turn the record button on at the beginning, so I've re-recorded the intro, and the good news is we did record the full conversation that happened after the interview that I did with Christine Yardley, so you will get all of that. What you will miss is some of the preamble. We apologize for that, and we do promise to hit the record button moving forward. We do plan, the webinar ended up being about just under an hour. We had some great conversations, and Christine and I were live in the chat while the interview was playing. Today's session is built around a conversation that we recorded in March for Print History Month under the theme, Make Your Move. Visit girlswhoprint.org to watch all of the conversations that happened throughout the month. The theme is about ownership. Owning your expertise, your ambition, and your next step, and taking action even when the path isn't perfectly clear. I'm excited to kick things off with and introduce Christine Yardley. She is the President and CEO of Print Panther Direct, founder of Christine Yardley Creative, board advisor for Girls Who Print Canada, and somebody that I am fortunate to call a friend. She's built an incredible career in this industry and is somebody who leads with both conviction and generosity. Community huddles are a little bit different from what you might be used to, and that is intentional. For starters, we do play a pre-recorded interview that runs approximately 15 minutes. While it plays, Christine and I are both in the chat with you. That means if something resonates, if you have a question, or if something sparks a thought, drop it in the chat as it happens, and we'll answer you as it happens. When the video ends, we'll come back and we'll talk about it together. Think of it like a book club. We've all watched the same conversation, and now we get to talk about it. All right, let's take off, let's get into it, and let's enjoy our first Girls Who Print Community Huddle. Hi, everybody. I am Joanne Gore, and I am the President and Chief Strategist at Joanne Gore Communications. I'm also the Regional Director for Girls Who Print Canada. Today, I'm being joined by Christine Yardley, President and CEO of Print Panther Direct and founder of Christine Yardley Creative. Make Your Move is about ownership, owning your expertise, your ambition, and your next step. In this conversation, we'll explore what it takes to move with purpose and with impact. Welcome, Christine.
Hi, Joanne. Thanks for having me. You've already introduced me. So yes, I'm Christine Yardley, and I run Print Panther Direct by day, and I run Christine Creative by night, basically. No sleep for me, but I spend my days basically designing, printing, and trying to innovate, and helping brands turn print into something tactile and unforgettable. So my passion's always been pushing print, and I got involved with embellishment, specialty inks, and dimensional finishes quite a few years ago, one of the early adopters. And recently I was just named Print Leader of the Year, which was an incredible honor. But really what drives me is just moving our print industry forward.
Love it. Well, congratulations, Christine. I know you're being very humble. You've won several awards, and we might just get a chance to touch on that a little bit. Let's see how the rest of this goes.
Okay.
What does making your move mean to you at this stage of your career?
Wow. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, really, for me, moving in my career, past or present or future, hasn't really been about changing jobs or changing companies, more changing my mindset, I think, really. And in our industry, in the print industry, everything was kind of based on price and racing to the bottom. And I just kind of, I think, dug back into my roots a little because I was a typesetter by trade. And I wanted to really focus on the creativity and the innovation and trying to be a little different. So for me, it wasn't a change of jobs, it was a change of mindset. And then I invested in embellishment and specialty finishing. And, we wanted to turn print into something that people would want to touch and keep.
Oh, I love it. All right. So, can you share a moment when you took action that moved your career forward?
Well, I mean, my career has taken so many twists and turns, but the embellishment portion of it, or I think the part we're focusing on more today, was when we invested in embellishment technology, and that's almost 10 years now, which I can't believe, but it's flown by. And it was a new technology, and it was a big risk because nobody really believed in it yet. We didn't have all the findings of tactile and holding a package for 5 seconds and all that. We didn't know any of that. But I believed that print had to evolve beyond just CMYK. And I think once designers and brands actually saw, shine and dimension and the printed piece suddenly had this, kind of glamorous edge, everything kind of changed. So the decision to actually go into the embellishment market, I think completely shifted the trajectory of our business and everything kind of fed into it. So that was the moment we changed when we took that jump. And I think we were the first in Canada to actually have an MGI press.
That's absolutely amazing. I want to dig into more of that in a minute, but I want to make sure, for our audience's sake, that we get through the core questions first, and then I'll go back and dig in a little bit more. How did you know that it was the right time to make the move? You said yourself it was 10 years ago. It was brand new tech. I don't even know, was it called embellishments back then? I mean, or is this the term that us marketers came up with? And more importantly, how did you bring something so new to market? So, yeah, how did you
Well,
know it
I
was the
mean,
right time?
I don't think you ever know anything with total certainty, but I mean, you can read the signals. I mean, print was changing. Everybody was saying, what should you invest in? Large format. There was always something, but I think the digital, arena was so forefront in their faces, and I think that print had an opportunity at that point to maybe be something more tactile, memorable, lasting, and also I think having something that couldn't be altered because people even back then didn't completely trust the digital, arena sort of thing. But I think when you realize that designers are asking for something, technology is changing, and you have to make a decision on which way to go. And I mean, printing is a very capital heavy investment business to be in. I think sometimes you just have to lean in. No one's going to say, "Hey, this is the right time." It's a guarantee. There's no guarantees.
No, absolutely not. Which is perfect segue into the next question, which is what advice would you give women in print who are thinking about their next move?
Well, I mean, I like my gut instinct, and if you pay attention to what energizes you, or like what gets you exciting, or inspires you, or whatever word you want to use, and you have an idea that keeps pulling you, and listen to that gut instinct, and I think women are really good at having that intuition, and so many women I talk to are like, I'm not sure if I'm ready yet, I'm not completely ready, well, you don't have to be completely ready, you just have to go for it, and I think that's for most leaders, actually, not women. And you just get going and then you figure things out as you go. And you can't wait for permission or perfect timing. You just have to go with what energizes you, what inspires you, and do your best. And I think Julie said it so well in one of her posts. She said, persistence. Absolutely. Be persistent.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. And nobody knows better than some of us who've been in this industry for quite some time. Okay, so if you were to write your career memoir right now, what would the title be? And who would you ask to write the foreword?
Well, it would have to obviously be called Eat, Print, Love, my passion
Oof.
project. So it would definitely be called a print lab because I think that approach that reflects how I approach my business and my life, my curiosity, my creativity, and my deep love for print. And I'd have to say Martha Stewart because she understands and cares so deeply about craftsmanship and passion, and it never goes out of style, right? And she comes out with I love her words. She'll say, "These are the words I hate," and she'll say, "I hate the word pivot." And I thought, I hate the word pivot. And she says, well, because if you're pivoting, you're going in circles. Just change and get going. And so I would have Martha Stewart do it.
I think that is, I would definitely read that. So tell me a little bit about how you came up with Eat, Pray, Love. That's been around for a
Print
while.
love,
When did that, sorry, eat, what did I say? Eat, Pray,
eat,
Love.
print love, eat, pray. Yeah, that would be the movie. Yeah, that would be Julia
You'd
Roberts.
be Julia Roberts. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Big profile there. But yeah, tell me, how did that come to be and as your passion project and what
Well,
is
I
it?
wish I had more time to devote to it because I haven't really. But about 7 years ago or 8 years ago, I was in Atlanta at a conference, and actually Deborah Corn interviewed me, and it was the first ever interview I ever did, and I was incredibly nervous. And I had just come up with this. Um, Passion project called Eat Print Love, which I wanted to be able to post some of my ideas. And, I used to love seeing an image and then matching a Pantone number to it and just crazy
Mm.
stuff and very design oriented. But then I also came across templates and ways to work with embellishment that made my life easier. And I wanted to share that somehow. And I didn't think Print Panther was quite the vehicle to do that. And during that interview, Deborah really she said, I love that name, Eat Print Love. I wish I would have thought of it before you. And she just, that moment of confidence that she gave me, I thought, yeah, I love this. Eat, Print, Love is who I am. And so I would be eating a wonderful meal and I'd take a picture and match it to a visual. And so I started building on it. And then I did a couple of videos and I posted them and I got cool templates people could use, but it sort of stalled when the print business took off. But eventually I'm going to get back to it. And it's just going to be a site of everything I love, like papers that I love. I love
Oh,
paper. My paper suppliers and I are attached. If anything new comes, they make sure I get it. So I wanted to share paper I loved and how this worked with this press, how that worked with that press. And so it was sort of an outlet for me for that I hoped would inspire people.
wow. I again, I'm already envisioning that book, and I was like, I can't, like, I see like this huge, like, coffee table book with all these cool embellishments and, everything you do so well. You can take something that is so simple, and I've seen what you've done, and you underestimate yourself. I want to give you a little bit of a boost here because, again, from an awards perspective, dare I ask, how many have awards have you won now?
Oh gosh, I don't mean
See,
not to sound humble, but it's
how many
like
did you win in 2025?
oh, probably between FSCA and graphics. 15. I don't know. I mean,
That's amazing. Which award to date are you most proud of?
well, from a strictly print point of view, with Print Panther Direct, it has to be my designer's guide with the FSCA because we won Best of Show. And the designer's guides was something I did for 5 years. I didn't do one this year. I figured 5 years was, I started it during COVID and it kind of ran its course. But winning Best of Show was a pretty magical moment because the competition was getting really steep and I was really happy we won. But from a personal point of view, obviously it was Print Leader of the Year because I mean, I kind of think of myself as getting ready to retire, not to be leading people. So that was a really humbling thing to have been honored with. And also, it made me question my leadership style, what I needed to improve, what I could still learn, and just I learned a lot just even writing my speech for that because I actually I think that was the first time I ever spoke and actually used my own voice.
Oh, I love it. And that's so important, especially for the emerging leaders and emerging talent and bringing it back to Girls Who Print and advice and recommendations for somebody getting up and giving their first speech or awarded that first really cool, confidence booster like Deborah gave you and winning that first award. Um, You mentioned the R word, um, retirement. So, and is that something that you feel will take you completely out of the game, or will that just shift
It's
how you
it's a
approach
total
the
shift.
industry?
Total shift. I mean, I can't see myself ever retiring completely. I've just been in love with the printed page too long. But I think I'd like to just do more of the creative part and now and less of the production part. So just a change maybe of direction, but certainly still doing what I do. And I think it's also taken me this long to figure out what I do well. I mean, and now that I know that a little better, I figure I can, move in different directions and hopefully keep evolving. I don't want to stop.
No, I could not even imagine stopping, especially, being this passionate about the industry and creativity and design.
And
So
if you feel like you still have something to say, and I think that's been reaffirmed in my mind now that what I'm saying has value and I believe in it, and so that's important. And I think and the whole thing that print is alive, right? It's not boring.
definitely not today, that's for sure. You also are on the Girls Who Print Canada advisory board. And so tell me a little bit how you feel about that and in general, Girls Who Print Canada, I mean, we're part of this big global organization, which is amazing. We have we face our own industry challenges here in Canada. But tell me what being sort of part of the Girls Who Print Canada movement means to you.
Well, I think first of all, everybody that's working with me on this, it's a pretty incredible group of women. When we went to an event last week and I see the picture of us standing there, I was showing it to my friend and she said, "Wow, that looks like a really powerful group of women." And I said, "Yeah, it really is." And it's a serious thing because I think we have to keep moving, women in our industry forward. But it's also a fun thing. It's fun to just be able to, talk to people, have fun, let your hair down a little, and not always be, trying to drive something forward. And I think the momentum that obviously global Girls Who Print has, I think we'll carry that through in Canada because I think Canada has become a very, we've really found our own footing lately.
We've had to,
Yes, we've had to.
which I think is great.
Yeah.
All
Timing's
right,
perfect.
so think about 20-year-old Christine and getting ready to enter the world as a typesetter and as a graphic designer, I would imagine. What would you advise 20-year-old you as a girl who prints? What piece of advice would you give yourself, knowing what you know today?
Never don't listen to my gut because I think a few times I didn't and it took me down the wrong path. Always listen to your gut instinct and persistence. I love that word from Julie. I love that. I've adapted that new word in my thinking lately. Persistence, but also I think I was fearless. I was absolutely fearless. I have no idea why, and I've had periods of being fearful. So I would just never be fearful. I would be fearless with nonstop and I wouldn't let anybody make me think otherwise. And I think any human being probably has moments where they allow fear to come in, but I'm over fear. No more fear for me.
Ah, I love it. Thank you, Christine. This has been wonderful. Any parting words for those who are tuning in today, as part of Print Her Story Month, as part of International Women's Day? What parting words would you care to share?
I guess just believe in yourself, believe in each other, and be kind and always do your best.
I love it. Thank you, Christine.
Okay, thank you.
Just did. Now it's recording.
Okay, we're not starting all over again, but sadly, we've now lost our beginning and our mojo. But that's okay, because we'll know better for
There's
next
always
time.
there's always post editing. There's always
Exactly.
post
But
editing.
this is the best part anyways, because this is where we get to come to life and really ask Christine some questions. So, who wants to ask Christine their first question? Anybody? I've got a whole bunch waiting in the wings, don't you worry, but I want to give everybody a chance to ask Christine a question.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Print Panther because I'm in the Vancouver market, and I was just wondering, is it just a digital operation? Do you have offset presses, or did you originally have offset and kind of evolve to digital?
First of all, it's so weird watching yourself speak. That's just was such a weird thing. I thought I was speaking and I realized, it wasn't me. I am a totally digital shop, but I come from a litho background, as does my partner. So, we have that foundation, but we're a completely digital shop.
And how long have you been in business for?
27 years.
Oh, wow. And digital the entire 27 years.
Well, I mean, technically the first Indigo, if you want to call that, I
Okay.
mean, it goes way back, but
Yeah.
I mean, we used a lot of litho back in those days, but it's since I can remember now, I mean, it's got to be a good 15 years digital. Yeah. Don't think I could go back, but I still use litho because one has to. But yeah.
Cool. Carol, I'll go Carol and then Heather. And then Begum.
Hello.
Hi, Carol.
Hello.
Your little picture.
Yes, I have a question. My question is, if you could go back and do one thing differently from over the years, what would it be?
Hmm. Um, I thought about this just recently because I did a panel a couple last week, I guess, and one of the people on the panel had this like complete strategy of how they were going to bring the company forward. It was all mapped out. I'd probably do a little bit less seat of my pants and a little more strategy. But having said that, I guess that's not my nature, and I don't know if it would have worked. But sometimes I feel like I'm just like, oh my God, I should just have a little bit more control. So that would probably be my only thing, but I wouldn't change one single thing because every mistake brought me to the next place. I mean, obviously we've all made mistakes. I bought the wrong presses. I've done jobs I shouldn't have done. I mean, that's how you learn. So I don't think I'd change anything, but I wish I probably would be in a different place today if I'd strategized slightly a little more. Does
Thank
that
you.
answer it
Cool.
kind of?
Thank
But
you.
yeah, and I've always had fun in what I do, and I have always believed that that old saying, a door closes, a window open. It always is the case. I tell my kids that all the time. Don't ever think a door closing is a bad thing. It's usually a good thing.
Amazing. Begum?
Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted
wait,
to
was
ask.
Begum? I forget
Oh,
now. Sorry, I
Heather
think it might
first.
have been Heather, then
Yeah.
Begum. I'm sorry. See, gray matter. Begum, you go and then we'll go to Heather, I promise.
All right. Okay. So Christine, from one print nerd to another, I'm sure you do a lot of experimental type of stuff. As we have been working on a project together, we've seen some stuff. Um, some of the things that you are seeing with your experiments, where do you see this industry 5, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road?
Wow. Let's do 10 years. Well, I think that, there's certain technologies that will stay and they certainly won't ever leave us, but maybe they'll just be a little more fine-tuned. I can even say that, like, because I had the first 3DS and I evolved into the bigger press. So you start learning what the bigger presses can do. So that's just what's going to happen for the future. The presses are going to be a little bit better, a little bit bigger. They might have less issues with the service might be better. Heads might not go. Like I think longevity will be improved upon. I think right now there's been so many OEMs that are, filling holes in the market, and maybe things are brought to market slightly before they should be. So it's a work in progress when it gets in the field. I think that's all going to become refined, and there's probably going to be less players, less players in that. But I don't think there'll be too many printers out there that don't have some kind of embellishment, whether it's metallics or, foils or varnishes. I think everyone's going to have that eventually. It's going to be like common, but
And
still premium.
just to follow up to that, sorry, Heather, just to follow up to that, now we're seeing like a huge rise in personal desktop devices that can do the UVs and you know, the laser cuts and all of that. Do you see, like, from a woman's perspective, do you see a lot of women kind of starting up a lot of that stuff on their own with the smaller devices, as opposed to, you know, $500,000 device on the floor and big space rental costs
Well,
and all of
sure. I
that?
mean, there's a lot of embellishment applications now that are much easier to get in the market. I don't know about a desktop. I mean, that's probably going to be somebody at home doing a very small run, wedding invites or something. But I mean, those devices don't give you the microns, or don't give you some of the added things that that the bigger presses do. I mean, I think that's there's always been that. There's always been people that do more of the, you know, craft stuff versus the commercial. But I think that the fact that there's presses now that are, you can, you know, $50,000 you can get in. I think that's wonderful, because it's just opening more doors, and that's good for our business, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Heather, it is your turn. You've been so patient.
That's all right. I know we've been talking a lot about mentorship lately, with the Print Wisdom program, and then the Girls Who Print also has a mentorship program. And when we were going through the questionnaire, I thought to myself, you know, sometimes even at this point in our career, we still need mentors. So I was thinking, Christine, you know, who has been that special person for you along the way? And do you still have a go-to person now that sort of is your mentor, or do you feel like you don't need one anymore?
Well, no, I mean, I think you always need somebody that will inspire you. I have a very, very good girlfriend who, she lives in the UK, and she's in advertising. She was, you know, high up in a lot of different agencies. She's an amazing writer, and I will go to her with concept, and she usually brings me in line pretty quickly. But as far as mentoring and stuff, do you know what was my biggest, I don't know, it's not mentorship, but if I ran up against like a guy that would say you can't do that, God damn it, I wanted to do it. I mean, it was just like, I don't know. I just like, and I had a couple of really unpleasant bosses that I think were my motivation.
Yeah, that makes
I know
sense.
that's terrible, but you know, kind of
Oh,
those,
I
I
can
think we all had
relate.
those.
Can,
you know, like
is there
I hate
anybody
to
here
say
who
that, but
can't relate to that? Like,
yeah, I
holy
mean,
crap.
but as far as mentorship, I mean, I've brilliant women. I mean, brilliant women every step turn I took, and you know, I mean, Carol, my friend Carol Potter, she was just so brilliant, like just so brilliant. She taught me a lot. I mean, I remember when, well, perfect example, my Print Leader of the Year award speech. I wrote it, sent it to her, and she said, "Well, this sucks. It doesn't even sound like you. It sounds like some guy wrote it." And she said, "You're not talking from your heart." I thought, "Oh my God, she's right." And so I took it back and I wrote it from the heart. So she brings me back when I've gone on a tangent. You know, she's just got that really good vision, and super smart. But I mean, I'm surrounded by, well, look at us. I'm surrounded by super smart women. I'm just so lucky. And that's always been the case. I guess I've just been lucky.
And we're all lucky to be surrounded by such smart and powerful women. And that's one of the reasons we, you know, launched Girls Who Print Canada, because not only are some of us considered those smart and powerful women, but we also get to help that next generation as smart and powerful women. So Cheryl, you're up.
Yeah, I just want to know, given the advancements in AI in a short period of time, have you done anything with AI, or sort of what is your outlook for AI within the print and manufacturing industry?
Well, it's huge. And yes, we do use it. I mean, from a creative standpoint, from a writing standpoint, from idea generation standpoint, huge opportunity there. I mean, I don't think you'll ever get rid of the craft of design. I think that original design is never, original ideas are, you know, what you come up with at 3 o'clock in the morning, and AI can't do that. But as far as AI in a production realm, I mean, I think it's huge. I mean, we can now make files for embellished print and stuff, you know, in a second rather than hours. And there's just so, and that's we're only touching it, we're only chipping away at it. There's so much more room to expand on it. I'm not afraid of it. I love it.
Are you bringing in outside resources, or all of the stuff that you're doing, you're sort of doing from your own learning?
From my own learning, but I think we've actually got to a stage where I would be willing to outsource it. But I've been lucky enough that I've had exposure from people that are smarter than me with AI. But I think from a production flow point, we're at a stage now where we probably do need some outside guidance to grow that extra step. And we have Julie, who's right in there, right, Joanne? She's brilliant at all
Oh
that.
yeah,
She's on
Julie
our
from
advisory board.
Ultimate Tech. That's
I'm
that's
gonna
what they specialize in, and Begum as well. Begum is doing lots of things with
Yep.
AI, and I think we each. I'm curious, not to hijack Donna as somebody who is teaching the next generation of girls who print, especially in packaging. Um, what's what's the AI conversation happening in the universities? I'm really curious.
Oh, yes. And big question because, we have agentics, and we are kind of navigating our courses. So just for clarity on the call, I teach at Toronto Metropolitan University, in the graphic communications management program. And so my skill set bringing in is technical design and the business management side. So the challenge is, how do we stay above the curve? uh, we can't. It is so fast currently that as soon as we have developed the curriculum, then it's already that advancement. So our kind of focus is to continue to keep the conversations going, the research at the forefront, and allowing what's really interesting is to allow student curiosity and latest research to come together to keep driving what does that look like next. So we're fortunate. We just got approved by Senate for our next evolution of curriculum for our program, which will start in 2027, and that's bringing in UX UI, and it's also increasing automation and AI into our course curriculums for greater expansion. But the specificity of that is because, again, we are trying to kind of set up our students to navigate into the to different areas of graphic communication. So front end in terms of design, and what does that look like in terms of like full on generative kind of versions. And so not only are we teaching software, but we can't forget to teach the background of where that knowledge has come from. How are we building data sets and knowledge so that way our students are exactly as Christine highlighted, still doing original design, still being responsible for that. And even in our course curriculums, we're saying it's okay to use AI and AI tools. Let's evaluate them, let's assess them, but then let's also realize that whatever we're submitting must be original. So we must edit. So ideation, yes, still in the core of using tools, but then how do we continue to build original thought, and knowing that they need to have the foundation of where did things come from. So if they don't understand pre-press workflows and how we have navigated artwork to be able to go into imposition, to add bleed, to add trap, we need them to understand the fundamentals so that they can work backwards to utilize the tools to advance them. So it's keeping our students human and keeping the knowledge human, and then understanding that the tools are to amplify us and build us, and keep that curriculum going. So it's hard to be specific right now because it's just ever evolving. And then the core of our school keeps in touch with our industry. So we rely on the Christines and the Joannes and the Begums and the Heathers to give us that currency and ensure that we're setting up our students for success to go into the industry they're about to involve themselves in and inspire to be. And just for clarity, our program is 65% women and marginalized women. So we have a strong
amazing.
runway that is pushing into that industry. So yeah, long rounded answer to your question, and really challenging to be specific, but our point is to continue to stay close to the industry, stay close to the new tech that's coming out, and make sure that our students stay curious about it and understand it. Yeah.
I think it's so exciting. As you were going through it, I was thinking, like, do you ever make them do something like old school, like pretend there's nothing, then you've got to cut a rubylith now, or you've got to create the CMYK. I don't even remember what they were called, but where you have to like, and I
It,
still have samples from my portfolio from when I was in school where
Color
we had
key.
to create all the masks to. I know you're laughing. That's how, yes,
no,
that's
we're
how
not
old I am.
laughing.
But
We had the Optocopy, and that machine was taken down, and then it's okay, so how do we still share students in order for them to understand separations? And so yes, we do them digitally, so we still have our students output separations digitally. We have a light table, we have them like oversee so that way they can see how each color registers and lines up, and where the trap happens. We have to teach them those foundations so that they can understand the equipment that exists if they have to troubleshoot and backframe. So um, some professors have a different perspective, and that's okay too. But I'm a big proponent of understanding the fundamentals and the foundation.
oh,
Absolutely.
100%.
I
100%.
love that word
Thank you.
specificity. Specificity. I'm going to use that word. It's a great word.
As long as you can say it.
Yes,
Can you say persistent specificity though?
Oh my
Five
God.
times fast. Let's go.
That
Let's
was
go.
excellent. I love that.
I
I
know,
love it.
that's
You can't forget the
crazy.
history, though. You need the history. And I say
Yes.
that to everyone I work with. You have to know the history of the printed page.
So I'm going to turn this question now to everybody here, unless somebody has a specific question for Christine that we haven't gotten to yet. All right. So here's my question. Well, I've got a few, but what's one move that you've been thinking about, but you haven't made yet?
Hmm. Um, Embellished large format.
Ooh. So what's the holdup?
The one I want's the most expensive. Um, we of course we're in packaging because you have to be, but I think that large format gives you an opportunity to get into packaging on a prototyping level, which is so lucrative. And I'm doing that now on a smaller scale, but I think to be able to have that expertise, plus some of the RFPs I do, it would lend so well. Now I'm taking it off one press, putting it on another. If I could just do it on one press, that would be really sweet. So embellished large format to me is something, and I think of embellishment as metallics, fluorescence, foils, and varnishes. I believe metallics and fluorescence are part of that embellishment mindset. I know everybody doesn't agree with me on that one.
No, I get it though. I totally get how it fits in, even though it may or may not be considered embellishments. Um, but yeah, I think the term is getting a little looser to
Yeah.
encompass more of the equipment that can produce those special effects.
I
I
mean, it's
think special
anything.
effects is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
more accurate, but
Anything that adorns the page and even die cutting.
yeah, true, true. Um, how about anybody else want to chime in? You've had a minute or so to think. What's one move you've been thinking about but have not made yet?
I
I'm
think
even trying to think. I wrote the question and I'm trying to think of the answer.
I think some of the very, very high-end book finishes and book covers and indents and all of those things. I think special equipment, very expensive equipment. So I think some of those maybe on a smaller scale is definitely something that if there's a specialty store that's just doing that, that'd be really cool.
Well, there's a return to sort of the older craft of certain printed elements. I know books are definitely making a comeback, record albums,
Yeah.
album artwork making a huge comeback. Um, a lot of the Gen Z specifically are driving this change. They want to go away from the whole digital world. Um, the smartwatches, I don't know if you're following that. Fitbit's coming out with their smartwatch that is screen free. And I believe Google is as well. Google owns Fitbit, but that, you think of the Aura rings. I think you have one, Christine, don't you? Do
I
you have an
do,
Aura
yeah.
ring?
Oh my God, I don't have it on. I better go put it on. I'm not, I'm walking for nothing.
But I know it's the same. I wasn't wearing it. Why did I bother getting out of my chair? But there is definitely a return to sort of a more analog world. And I think that the print industry is going to be a catalyst in helping that move forward. Again, labels, packaging, the whole embellishments, touching, the science behind it all, what's driving it. Um, Everything from books, notebooks, pen and paper, all of that sort of tangible, touchable um, information is what's, again, my prediction is what we're really going to see much more of, especially as we get closer to 2030 and AI starts to find its true place in our world, as opposed to, I think now we don't necessarily really know where it fits in, where it fits everywhere, right? It's like the dawn of the internet. It was everywhere. We didn't really understand it. We kind of got it. And now look what we've done to it. So we have to be careful that we don't give AI the same the only word I can think of is loosey-goosey, but that same casual approach of, oh yeah, we can do anything we want. We can't, especially with AI. We have to be really, really careful. Compliance is a huge issue. Catherine, I see you nodding your head. Um, how are you using AI, Catherine? Are you using AI?
I actually don't use it a lot, the odd chat GPT to check something I'm writing, but I don't use it regularly. But I guess as a veteran in this industry, I'm, I guess, interested in all the things you've been talking about the younger generation and kind of the future of the print industry. And for me, because I sell supplies for lithopresses, not for digital, so it's always sad for me when I see a lithopress replaced by digital. But for the young people, their interest and even getting them interested in this industry, it is probably going to be more of the digital and then obviously AI. And so the old school stuff that I know, and I guess all of you know as well, that it's still going to be there, but at a smaller space than it had been. So, but yes, technology,
Tess?
ever since I started in the industry, I think that's when digital desktop started, and it's just continued to rise and change. Sometimes I wish it would stop and we could have a break and catch up, but it just keeps on moving. Yeah.
Do you ever have one of those days where you just look at everything assaulting you and you're like, oh, I just want to be a Walmart greeter? Like, I just want to say hi to people,
Yeah.
give stickers to the kids. Do they even do that anymore? Remember they used to give out smiley face stickers?
Well, I've always said there's never a dull moment in this industry, that it's because it's always changing and you can't get bored because it doesn't allow you to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap things up. Does anybody have any parting words? Christine, parting words while I find my place on my little cheat sheet script here.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for watching my video that Joanne did. She's such a great interviewer. She takes things and makes them sound so good. And I'm just so excited to be part of this huddle. I think we're gonna have fun. We're gonna try and maybe do some live in-person ones eventually, I think we mentioned. And I think it's got a lot of scope and a lot of potential.
Those of you joining us, what did you think of the format? Something repeatable? Did you enjoy the ability to sort of watch and potentially have conversations? What are your thoughts on that?
I found it very, very helpful. Yeah, it was very interesting. Like I said, I'm more sort of, sort of at the front end of when I'm bringing on employees and to recruitment, whatever. So certainly not as much maybe on the technical side. So it's great exposure to kind of, understand sort of the other side of the business. And, all the knowledge that everyone's sharing has just been very valuable, and really appreciate everyone for their contributions. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Vera. Do you know Heather? You two need to connect.
We've met
We have met in the past. Yes.
Amazing. Anybody else? Comments, feedback, format? We're good? So far, so good. You'll be here for the next one? All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Christine, for sharing your experience. Community huddles happen every month-ish. And this is just the beginning. Join Girls Who Print Canada's LinkedIn group. I believe that's where that QR code will take you. That's where the conversation continues, where we share opportunities, where the community connects, and where you will be able to find links for the next and upcoming community huddles. Thank you again to our sponsors. Excuse me. Konica Minolta, TI Group, and Ultimate Tech for making this series possible. If you're interested in sponsoring an event, bringing us to your event, or becoming a member, email. Do we have the email on there? No. Okay, so it's, if somebody can throw this into the chat, it's GWP, Girls Who Print Canada, at girlswhoprint.org. And I've learned that we now have an official Girls Who Print Canada page on the Girls Who Print Global website. So we can actually start sharing content. We have our own dedicated space. So again, join the LinkedIn group. You'll get all of the information on that. And we're really excited by our continued growth. Male allies are absolutely welcome here. We have a lot of male allies who support our association, and please feel free to invite them. Students as well. Anybody who is a student or educator gets free membership. So if you have students who want to become members, head over to girlswhoprint.org and become a member. If you're a Canadian and become a member, the membership rate is at par. So if you see $40 US, it means it's $40 Canadian to become a member. And if you have any questions around membership or sponsorship, again, feel free to email gwpcanada@girlswhoprint.org. Our next community huddle will be on May 20th, where I will be the one in the hot seat and Sam is going to be the one who interviews me. We're not sure yet. I'm still on the fence whether we show the interview that Deborah Korn did with me, same interview that I did with Christine, or whether Sam will re-interview me. So with that said, without further ado, I didn't finish. I'm going to be interviewed by Sam, who is here on the call, and she is the Girls Who Print Canada Maritimes chapter manager. So we will be sharing the link on the in our LinkedIn group. So if you are not a member, please head over to our LinkedIn group and join us and share with your friends. And thank you all for joining us for our very first Girls Who Print Canada Community Huddle. And we will see you in May.